Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Scale Riders podcast episode number 230. I'm your host, 65 Locs. On the road, driving, lots of traffic, no more rain. The rain has cleared, sun's coming out. I don't think it's gonna rain anymore for like the next few days, so we'll see. I can see like snow from the mountains just from the distance where I'm at. It's kind of crazy to see that. Because you rarely see it, but it did rain a lot. It rained so much, and some areas got hit like really, really bad, but we got lucky that it wasn't so crazy where I'm at compared to other areas. But just checking in with you guys. We're already in the month of February, the first week, and midweek, so this month's gonna fly by, man. And as you guys know, if you guys have been listening to this podcast for some years now, you guys know I'm in the flower industry as well. So next week we got Valentine's that's coming up. Dang, I don't know, you guys have wives, girlfriends, all that. Start doing your thing now. Get your gift or whatever you need to do now. Hey, but don't be afraid to also tell your significant other, show some hints that you're like, hey, I want something too, No, I'm just messing with you guys. But yeah, that's coming up. It's next week. It's crazy. It's already coming up. When I was younger and these dates would come up, I used to dread it. I used to be like, oh man, here comes the busy season, and it wasn't that it was laziness. It was more just that I didn't want that stress, like, of chaos, phones ringing, lots of people coming in, people with lots of questions and everything. Those always seem to be somewhat like problematic, right? That would just prolong the day and everything. And throughout the years, it was something where, we needed to figure out a system. We needed to figure out a way to narrow it down. Instead of having so many different questions and so many different things, break it down, simplify it, and make it really easy for people to understand, and also already have those answers, the questions answered pretty much, and throughout the years, little by little, those things started to change. Our system, the way we worked and everything, which starts to become more efficient and more dialed in, where now, combined with the experience, but also with the system that we have now, it's not even a stressful thing. It's like a lot easier. It's super chill, where I'm looking forward to it, now. I'm like, dude, like, cool, it's here, And same with Mother's Day. When those busy holidays kick in, it's just, it doesn't stress me out or anything. It gets me excited for when it's like busy like that. And whenever I go to like a restaurant too, sometimes I see, when places blow up, like they get all busy and stuff, and I see the chaos and the hecticness, and I see them multitasking and holding it down, and I think to myself, dang, for the most part, some of these places this is like every day, every day there's chaos, every day there's something, and then sometimes there's places that aren't, but the ones that are, I'm like, dude, if they could do this every day, I shouldn't let it bother me if it's for like a week or whatever, it should be chill. So, but it's been cool, like, we got all this coming up, then it's gonna be gone, like, we're like a week away, and then that's it, boom, the holiday's gone, and then we're on to the next holidays and whatnot, right? So, talking about that subject of like simplifying stuff, narrowing it down, it's the same kind of concept that I go with model building. A lot of the times, for someone who's new, that's stepping in, that is curious and is like, hey, I wanna start model building, or even those that have been away for like 10, 15, 20 years and want to jump back into it. But when they see the level that it's at, it can be intimidating, because you start going on Instagram and you start following, certain artists on there, and you start to see the level of work that they're at, and it blows you away. From engine detail work to the paint jobs to the stance, color combinations, interior, the design, the materials, everything that's being used, the wheels. Then you got artists that are designing things for 3D printing too, and that's like a whole nother thing. So there's just like so much to consume, so much stimulation, that you're just like, man, like, I want to do this. But now since the level of it is high, it's like you want to be on that level too, right? From what you see, because that's what influences you. Like, you see something really dope and you're like, I want to do that. I want this one to be like that. I want my models to look like that. And sometimes when you're new to something and you have that high expectation, it puts a lot of pressure on your shoulders and a lot of weight and everything, that you're just like, you're a bit hesitant to even start, because there's just so much intimidation of not messing up. You want it to come out perfect. Maybe you don't know how to start, and you might be a little embarrassed of asking someone because you're new to it, and you might not know the person that well. But once in a while, you like shout out a comment or say what's up or whatever, show some love. But there hasn't really been like a convo sparked up. So it makes it a little hard. And you'll find some information that'll pop up here and there, and if you dig through, on YouTube, dig around, you're gonna find stuff there too. But sometimes it's crazy. Like, there's some videos you can't even find anymore. I don't know if they got deleted, or they're just like really hard to find and they just got lost in the in the pool of videos out there. But I get these questions a lot, on different platforms. Sometimes I get comments on TikTok and messages just asking like, hey, what do you recommend, or what steps should I take? I'm scared to like start my model. Like, this is my first one, and what I would say is, like, a lot of these models that are new, that are coming out, just know that if you do mess it up, if you want to start over, you can always get another one and another one. Don't just feel like this is the one and that's it, and I'm not gonna get any more, and just don't set the bar too high for this first one. Just like starting things off. Back then, it was a mystery, like, oh man, like, how do I start or what? And then you change your development as you progress, and the more people you meet, and then others recommend, hey, try this. Oh, this is the way I do it. So you start to learn everyone's methods, and you start to try them all, and little by little you start just kind of mashing it all up together, where you come up with yours. And sometimes you might just emulate someone. You go, man, like, if this is working for him, I can't go wrong either, because look at the results he's getting. So if you're starting off new, or you're coming back to it, this segment right here will be for you. So pretty much, you get your model kit. I know a lot of the times back then, people would say, oh, I always wash it in water with dish soap when I get it out of the box, or I tear it out of the baggie, because there's like a film like residue, like little shininess, like oily or whatever, because, you know, when they pop these molds and everything, right? And, you know, back then I used to do that kind of stuff, but then it just prolongs everything. It makes it like longer and longer and longer. And even doing that, you're still gonna sand the car. You're still gonna wet sand it. So you're gonna break through all that, right? And you're gonna wash it. You're gonna be washing it anyway. So now I skip that step. So open up the box. You get the model kit out. Your focus is gonna be on this body, and you know, you look at the body. Look at the scriptures and everything, the emblems, you know, everything that's on there. Start to see like the roof, the doors, the trunk, the hood, and you can get your 400 grit sandpaper, but I would recommend sponges. So you can get like the God hand ones, get a little bit of water, and just start lightly sanding the body, right? So you're just passing through pretty much the whole body. Be careful with certain edges, and then just wash it like after, right? Rinse it all out, get all that little debris out. Do the same for the hood if the hood's not attached to the body. You know, other pieces like the dashboard, the package tray, even some of the seats, you could go over it lightly. And you know, most like Aoshima kits and Japanese kits, they don't have engines, so you won't really have to, you know, worry about that. If you are doing like an AMT, Mobius, Revell that does come with an engine, I mean, you could wash it. There's not really going to be much to sand because it's so tiny, right? I mean, you could wet it and all and just let it air dry. But I know for the most part, I don't even do that. I just kind of let it be, you know? Like, all right, cool. I cut those pieces out of the tree, glue it all up, and then I go with my Tamiya gray primer, shake that up, and go ahead and I start primering the body and all the parts. When I primer the body, I let that sit out in the sun for maybe like a couple hours, or outside, you know. And once that time passes, it's you can go back and start inspecting it. And if you see some areas that need to be sanding, like flash, which is like an excess of plastic, really thin plastic that sticks out, that needs to come off. You know, there's various forms of taking that off. You could either use your hobby knife, just cut it off really lightly, or you could even just sand it down with that sanding sponge, the 400 grit. And once you get rid of all that, you come back and you reprimer it, and then you set it out, right? So another 2 hours pass, bring it back in, look at it, and if everything looks cool, then all right, let's get our 600 grit sanding sponge and let's wet sand this gray primer. So wet the whole body, you know, wet all the other parts as well. Then you can do a light wet sand over the whole body, the doors, package tray, dashboard, the trunk, everything. If at that moment when you're doing all you're doing is smoothing it out, but bringing it up to speed to 600 grit, just so it has some tooth for the paint, then if no primer should come off. Like, it should already be tacked on to the plastic. If for some reason you go too hard, or it just like comes off, and then, you know, let's just say you have like a little patch that is exposing the primer, then that's fine. Just continue on, and if more starts to be exposed, then dry the whole body. Make sure it's nice and dry. Use like a micro fiber towel. Dry the whole body and just reprimer it again. And let that dry, and then go back over it again with the 600, just really light. And now your body's going to be pretty much ready for paint. So just rinse that out, get it nice and dry with the little towel. And from here, you have different options. So depending on the decision you made of what color you want the car to be, the theme that you're going for and everything, you have options. You could either go down the route of continue using Tamiya rattle cans. So you'll pick a color and then your clear coat, that you'll layer after that. So sticking to the same system. If you're gonna go splash paints, you'll pick your color and then you pick your clear, your 2K, 2-part clear, and that would be for airbrush application. Another route would be if you want to use like Createx, like waterborne, colors. If you want to go down that route, the fourth option would be like House of Color paint. If you want to go using automotive urethane paint, custom colors and all that. So there's those different options, and that's one of the things I love about the Tamiya primer. It's very universal. So that right there is already protecting your plastic, and it's ready to receive the next application that you're gonna put over it. I named those 4 paint systems because I've used those 4. I know there's many more, but I have not used them. So as of right now, I'm not, I can't recommend those right now. But for you guys that have that experience at using those, let me know what you're using. I'm curious to know. For those that are already experienced using something different, give me your 2 cents on that paint system. So let's say you go down the route of splash, right? So you get your paint, you shake it up, you agitate it, and let's just say it's like a Bayside blue color. It's a nice, rich, bright blue color. And you're like, all right, well, if I shoot this color, this blue over this gray, it's going to give me a certain tone. It might be a little darker. If I shoot this color over like a white color, it's going to be even more brighter and rich, right? So, and you might be thinking, well, if I put 2 colors and it's going to be too thick, and then what about the clear? Nah, don't worry about that. Like, these colors are very forgiving. They lay down thin when you're airbrushing, and you could definitely layer. So you can, airbrush like just a plain white color over the whole body. So now you have coverage over all the gray. So now your whole body's white. And then from there, let me take a sip from my coffee. Hold on. So then from there, you can get your blue color and just airbrush right over it, your Bayside blue. As far as flash time, it could even be like 30 minutes or an hour. You don't have to wait like so long. Like, you could do it right there and then, because it's all lacquer paint. You're not using different applications. Nothing crazy is gonna happen. So like after you spray the white, just wait 30 minutes or an hour. That paint lays out thin, and it doesn't lay out like wet. Like, it's not gonna be just like a bed of wet paint just sitting there. Like, that stuff dries so fast and thin that it gasses out fast. Once once you layer that, then you could go for your Bayside Blue, hit it with that, and then you could wait after that, because what's going to be next is going to be your clear coat. But let's say you want to add decals and you want to go down that route, this is the time to do it. So after you wait another hour, you could definitely get your water slide decals and start applying them to the body, different places where you want to place your decals. Once you place your decals, I would recommend to wait at least another day, just so this way the water that's on there just is fully dry and gone, and there's no, because sometimes you could look at a decal and be like, oh yeah, it looks dry, the edges are dry, but you never know, there might be a small little droplet of water underneath the decal, so also make sure you use the proper tool. You could even use a cotton swab to absorb the water from there and get some of that water off when you roll the cotton swab over the decal, just to get everything out, water's out. And then the following day, once you inspect everything, make sure everything's dry, from there you can go ahead and start mixing your 2K clear. So this is their gloss clear. It's I think it's 3-to-1. So it's three parts of clear and then 1 part of their hardener, and you stir that up, and from here you get your airbrush, and you first, when you're gonna apply this clear, you want to make sure you hit those small little areas, like the front, the grills, the side view mirrors, and you go really lightly on those. Don't go too crazy on those areas. You got to go really light, and then just do the body. Do some passes on the body, because you're gonna do and go really light, because that first one you want to do more of a mist, and then you wait 15 minutes, let that dry, and then you come back and you hit another one, and then you let that dry, and then you do a final one, and that's gonna be it for that. And then you want to wait at least like 6 days. That's gonna be the part where it takes the longest, that you're gonna wait. But I'm telling you, you could be doing this all within 1 day to 2 days, if you want to work fast, right? The same with House of Color. Once my cars are primered and I've already inspected everything and I'm ready to paint, and I already have my colors and everything, the only thing holding me back is myself, right? Trying to figure out the time, the schedule, when am I going to paint? I either have a window in the early morning because of my daily schedule with my family and work. I don't have time to do it in the evening or midday. I don't have time to do any of that. If I'm going to airbrush a car, put some color on it, it's got to be in the day, in the morning, early morning, 8 a.m. And sometimes it can be 50 degrees, 60 degrees, 70 degrees, depending, what time of the year it is, whether it's the winter time, the springtime, summer, fall. It's always going to be different in the mornings. Before, I used to let that kind of factor in, oh my God, the weather, this and that. Now I don't even trip. I'm in a garage, spraying my stuff. The door's open. Whatever air is going to come in is going to come in, but it's not really going to affect what I got going on, because I'm using one of those little spray booths, and it's it's just not, it's not that crazy. So even on a day if it's raining, I know I could do it, but sometimes I just don't do it. I just get a little discouraged because I'm just I feel like staying home, right? But when my cars are ready and I got my paints and everything, and I know all right, I'm just gonna airbrush the body for now. Today I just want to do the body. I know that all I need is 30 minutes or an hour at max. And it's not for painting. The painting part's fast and quick. It's more for prep and then clean up at the end, right? So I always like to leave like my model in the booth like the night before, so this way I could just step in, put on my gloves, throw on my mask, turn on the compressor, do some test spray outs with the lacquer spray on the airbrush, do some backwashes, make sure the needle's working fine and everything, and then I just pour in my paint and I start spraying, and I just start going. And I very rarely run into any issues. If something happens, a hiccup or let's say a piece of lint or something just lands on the body as I'm painting it, I don't really trip. I just know that later I can always like remove that. Even if, let's say I remove it and you can still see it exposes the primer, almost like if that piece of lint took the hit for the primer, like it took its spot for color. You could still go back and touch it up real quick. It's not going to be nothing crazy. So at this point, I just pretty much get the paint, I shake it up because it's already mixed in, and with its reducer, and I just start airbrushing it, like on there, and then I just let it, like, all right, cool, I'm done. I'm gonna let this flash out. I won't come to this probably. If I'm in the mood to clear coat tomorrow, all right, cool, we're going to clear coat it tomorrow. If that's all I'm going to do, if it's a simple, just one color paint job, then that's the way it's going to go down. But let's say if I'm going to do water slide decals and I want to layer maybe another color of paint and all that, then the next color of paint could go on it could go on later that day. But since my schedule doesn't allow it, I got to do it the next day. So the next day would be like, all right, maybe I'll do some back masking, and all this, or maybe I don't really have to do nothing too crazy of the back masking. All I gotta touch it up is like right here, and then boom, throw in some little fades. All right, that's it, done. And then if I want to do water slide decals, I could always bring the car in that night and then do that. Wait a day or two, let those decals dry out, boom, all right, now it's time to clear coat the car, get it all nice and clear coat it, for the following days. And once that's done, then you just gotta weigh it out. But I'm telling you, it's not that complex, it's not that crazy. I think for the most part in our heads we're thinking it's so much because we haven't done it, right? It's like we're overthinking it. We're just overthinking it. Oh, what about this? What about this? You just jump in, just do it. Like don't even trip. Like just do it up, because there's gonna be more hurdles down the road. This is just the painting part. Later comes the assembly. The assembly is like a whole nother thing. And as you go, you learn. You learn. Oh man. Most models I've been building, the windows go from the inside. Oh dang, this one goes from the outside, and they don't fit because I put too much clear. I've had that happen to me, and I learned that now, where now I just take super precaution with all those like little things. Right now I'm at the point where I gotta paint a car, and then later I gotta clear it, and I already know that I gotta be very, very careful on certain areas that I clear, because there's the plastic, like glass that goes in those areas, that I know that if that buildup gets in there, those things aren't gonna go in there. It's just not gonna fit at all. And I'm just like, man, I gotta go like really, really light. I'm almost thinking like when I clear coat the car, instead of the approach that I do of like, hitting all those small little areas first, and then I'm just gonna clear the car, but focus more on the bigger parts of the car, like the side body, the doors. Go really light on the front and back, and then go back to my regular on the roofs, on the the hood and the trunk, just to make sure that those areas you get plenty of clear up on there. especially for polishing, because those are the parts that are going to be most visible when someone looks at your car, you know. But just to get started, you know, just to recap, you want to get started. Let's just say you don't want to use airbrush because that's a whole nother beast. You're intimidated by it. You just want to do rattle cans. That's all you care about. You know, you just want to have the feeling of pulling out a kit, primering it, painting it, and then putting clear on it. All with rattle can. That can be done. It's nothing crazy. Like I said, just to recap, pull the model out, wet sand it, 400 grit around the whole body, and just, you know, wet it so you get all that debris off the body that you sanded off, all the little particles and everything, and styrene dust. Dry the body, layer down your primer, do another wet sand after that primer is dry with 600 grit. Clean the body, dry it, and then, you know, color of choice. If you're gonna go with like a dark color, cool, you could just color spray right over that primer. Boom, it's done. And just let it chill. Let it dry out and everything. And then, you know, the next day or two, if you got the time, just come back and clear that car. Hit it with the gloss clear. You're most likely gonna have to use like 3 coats of clear, but just remember, like, when you spray it, the first coat, just dust on that first coat. Like, lightly spray it on the body. Don't go heavy on it. Just lightly spray it. Wait like 15-20 minutes. If you have sun in your area, make sure you go out there, let the sun hit it, and then you come back and spray some more clear, and wait another 15-20 minutes, and then just spray your final clear, and just eyeball it as you go. You know, I'm not telling you, oh, you're gonna have to get this gloss, like crazy gloss finish. No, this is your first model. Learn from these experiences. You know, if things go bad, or like a piece of, you know, debris falls on it because of static or just something in the air, you know, don't beat yourself up about it. Like, it's all good, you know. On the next one, you'll get it, and then just keep kind of going from there. If the clear, you know, shrinks down into the paint and it's not glossy and it looks kind of trippy, you know, don't trip on that. You know, that's when you start to learn, okay, there's a big difference between 2K clear and just regular gloss clear from Tamiya, you know. And then you start to notice the difference between 2K clear and House of Color show clear. You start to notice big differences on that. So you're just stepping up, leveling up as you go. But just jump in, don't trip. You know, in the future, I am going to want to host something where I've been talking to some friends about this, where I want to do a get-together, you know, like a private get-together with modelers. You know, everything RSVP. You come through, you bring your project. If it's something new or something you've been working on that maybe you're struggling with or whatever, or you want to learn something, you know, we're gonna take care of it right there. We're gonna, you know, go over things, you know, do some demos and stuff like that. Even for those that don't know how to airbrush, you know, they could get a feel for it right there. Because there's a lot of things, man, that go into it. I know for my airbrush, I use the HPCS from Iwata, and man, this thing is like, it's such a dope airbrush, hands down, one of the best airbrushes out there. And you know, the one thing that for many years out when I was using it that I never really liked, you know, I never said anything until later started bothering me, was the push down button and the pullback for the little lever there, right? And then Iwata came out with this like really dope airbrush for those that like to airbrush like portraits, pictures and all this stuff on canvases and on cars and all this stuff, right? And it made me think, all right, they just came out with this like really expensive, dope Japanese airbrush that's like this like signature series, right? And I was paying attention to like, all right, what's in that airbrush that makes it special, right? And I mean, it's like the smallest, thinnest like needle. It's almost, it could airbrush like the size of a hair, so thin, right? And they made me think, all right, well, how many hours are these dudes, applying to these paint jobs they're doing, these portraits? It must be thousands of hours, right, over time. That it started to make me think, like, okay, well, if it's taking them this long to do all that, it must definitely like jack up their finger or make their finger really like super tired, it was making me think about that. So I was like, because I know with me, I'm just using, I'm painting for periods of time, but not thousands of hours, nothing like that. But how can I modify my airbrush to make it even more like better, more convenient, more like soothing for my hands and for my finger? So the thing that stood out was the lever. It was a way different one. It wasn't a round little lever. It had like, it was more wider and flat at an angle, and it looked like it had these little ridges, like little teeth on there too. Then I was like, oh shoot, that looks like you could get some nice grip when you pull that back. So I was like, they have to sell that part. They have to, So I ended up finding the part on its own that originates from that airbrush. And then I just went ahead and I purchased it. And I later saw a video from Coast Airbrush where they show where you could actually do a swap on that to upgrade the airbrush even more. And I was like, dude, that's dope. Like that's the thing. That's what I want to do. Got it in. I swapped it on my first HPCS. Started using it, and I was like, oh my god, this is just like, it makes it even better. Like this airbrush is even more better. And I went ahead and got another one for another HPCS that I have, because I use one for paint and one for clear. So now, I mean, those two things, I just love pulling that lever back. Even when I clean the airbrushes and I just have them in hand, I just like messing with them, like pulling that finger back, right? And I've told friends about it. I don't know if they've done the upgrade, I tell them about it, but it's one of those things you don't know until you try it, until you have that airbrush in your hand and you pull that trigger back, and you go, dang, like this feels way better than the other one. So those are like things like that where I want to link up with people and get together, we do this up, and also talk about like my compressor that I use for my Wada, just to kind of let people know, this is how you turn it on, how you turn it off, how you after you're done, after so many sessions, how you have to unscrew. There's a bottom screw on there because there's a lot of moisture that builds up in water in the tank that you gotta release and get that out of there. So this way that you don't mess up your tank over the years, or you just don't want a bunch of water leaking out. Like you gotta maintain and do maintenance to it, and then also just show people about the PSI level of where I set it, and just kind of leave it there, because sometimes we toy around with that too much, and we're always getting different results. But once you get it down to a certain PSI level where this is like your norm, and you just lock it down and that's it, and you just leave it there, and then you never mess with it. I never mess with mine. I just leave it. At this point, I think I have it at 20, and I just leave it there. Before it was like 18. I always play around those two, but now I just kind of don't even look at it. It's just down there, locked in. I know some people like to mess with it. They put it up really high when they want to blow the model and get it dry and all this stuff. And others don't. Others just leave it. I know Armando Flores just leaves his and locked, and that's it. He doesn't even like look at it anymore. It's just an accurate level. As long as he's getting accurate air, he's good, And I know that comes with skill and practice over time. You make it happen. But everything is possible, man. It's all possible. It's nothing too crazy to make you feel like, oh man, I can't do this. I can't do this to this paint job or whatever. Wanting to learn, you gotta have that drive of wanting to learn. Oh, another thing I want to bring up right now is one thing that I know for sure. I haven't tested it yet. I want to. I'm gonna get my hands on one. So Manny from Tropical Glitz out in Florida unveiled their flake that it's now bottled, where you can basically spray it. So they already compress it in a rattle can, and you can go and just spray out their flake. So the flake that I always use is the .004. That's like the perfect scale for our scale models, right? And 124, 125th. For the most part, I've always had to use a Harbor Freight airbrush to make that application. But those are like those throwaway airbrushes where it's going to work or it's not. It could be clogged up, and then you toss it, you got to get another one, right? And when I was like seeing this, I was like, wait a minute. This could be a game changer right here. These are my predictions, but until I get my hands on it and I try it out, then I'm like, yo, like this, that's it, like this is a product right here. So pretty much, let's say you primer your car and now you airbrush it with like Orion Silver Max. Now your car is really bright metallic, silver. You put it under the sun, it's like very rich, right? Popping. And now you're like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and flake the whole body or just the roof, whatever, right? You can get this rattle can that already has flake, shake it up, and spray your flake on the body. And once you're done with your session, what he recommends is you put the can away, but upside down, so all the flake agitates to the top of the can, right? Because it's upside down. So this way, when you're going to use it, you flip it back, and then all the flake falls down. So once that's all your parts flaked up, dry, the next day, or probably even later that day, like after a certain hour, maybe 3 or 4 hours, you could already start cleaning your car. But I know for myself, I'd wait like the next day, right? And then boom, start cleaning your car. And next thing you know, it's like you just flake something so fast, right? Not having to go through this whole like process of like searching for the airbrush, connecting it, seeing if it works or not. It's already there. Like it's so easy, and very convenient. And I was having a conversation about that with Armando, and I was telling him, man, if you try it out or I try it out, whatever, like if one of us tries it out and we get some results from this, that works for us, that benefits like the cars, dude, in the model car industry, god dang, it's gonna be a game changer right there, big time. We're gonna start to see more and more cars flake right there, you know, because I know that's the flake I've been using for years. I love that flake, the Platinum Plus. It's very bright and rich, and when you candy over that, it just pops. Even if you just clear over that, it pops. That stuff's like so dope. So it's definitely going to be a game changer right there. Once we conduct some tests on that right there. And if you've seen it, or if not, make sure you check it out on Instagram. It's Tropical Glitz. Check them out right there. They got some cool stuff on there. And but yeah, I do wanna check out that can. I'm very, very curious about that, to try that out, because dang, it looks cool. Even if you're like doing bigger stuff, like let's say even like a skateboard, you could just do it with that. You could spray that flake over with that can. Just change the size of the request, like, or when you order the different size of flake, since now you're going to a higher scale, you want that flake to be a bit bigger. Some people combine even two sizes of flake for more dance, more shine. You know, a bigger to small. It works really good. Man, I'm just tripping out right now because I'm driving on these highways and I'm just seeing, you know, there's just so much green right now in the land, and like yesterday, everything was just drenched in water. Everything was just like so wet, puddly, muddy, cold. Now the sun's out. It's like, it's just really, it looks really nice. The roads are dry and everything. It's a trip, man. It's a trip how this whole thing happens, you know. And they kept saying that oh, there's a drought. What drought? There's like so much water now. It's crazy. There's like too much water. But man, this month's, you know, going by. I know you guys are going to enjoy this weekend. For those of you that watch sports, I know you guys are going to enjoy the Super Bowl. That's coming up. For myself, that's more like a work weekend, you know. I know later when I check on X, I'll be able to see, you know, like who won or like some highlights or something like that, you know, for the most part. But I know everything else, you guys are going to be watching it right there and then. That's cool. That's all good. But you know, the Lambos that I got in the Aventadors, there's I'm gonna be building one. There's one of them that I got, and I'm like, all right, this is the one. I'm gonna build this one, and I got really curious about the disc brakes. I started like talking to KC about it. Slowly models, like, yo, like, I'm gonna build this one, but check it out. I think this is the PE that I can use with it too. Even though on the cover it's not this version of Liberty Walk because this just came out, but Aoshima has released Aventadors in the past, and there is an Aventador PE set that they made in the past too. So I acquired one of those PE, and I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and open it up and look at the instructions, and even open up this one, and I'm just gonna combine and see if it fits, you know. And this is like on some like Cinderella, you know, if the shoe fits type thing, you know. And so I'm just going in there, and I'm comparing the disc brakes, you know, some of the interior parts, the dashboard, and all this other stuff. And dude, it's looking really good. It's looking really, really good. Like it's gonna be the same, right? Just visually seeing it, it looks like it fits, right? But the next test would be to pull out the stuff and actually go for it, right? So I'm waiting to do that because I want to do it on video. I'm gonna be doing a YouTube video where I'm gonna show the kit and I want to unbox it. Like, I want to pull all the stuff out to show you guys what comes in the kit, and then I also want to talk about the PE set, and then we're gonna do the test. All right, I'm gonna record it. All right, guys, I'm gonna show you guys to see if this fits and if it's a go. And if it's no go, then it's no go. But at least you guys get to see, right? I want to share this process with you guys as I'm doing this part, because I mean, those Lamborghinis are just beautiful, And if it fits on that, dude, it's gonna fit on the other Aventador releases too, that are Liberty Walk editions. It has to, because I really doubt that they're gonna spend more extra money to change even that tooling for like the disc brakes and all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I know for sure that they were going to spend more money on the molds, like on the exterior body, because that's the look we're going for, right? So that's something I'm excited about right there, is recording these videos, putting them together. I think once this holiday passes, within a week, I'll knock these videos out, unless if there's some time in between. But those will be some future vids that I definitely want to put out there for those that are curious and wanting to build an Aventador Liberty Walk Edition. Man, there's just so many Lambos out right now. Those things are just hot. Liberty Walk, Aoshima, the PZY, all those. I'm already like sold out of those kits. Like, those kits are gone, the ones that I got in. If I'll see, I might be able to get more. I'm not sure yet. You see, I had said that I might just do a run with them, get that in and out. I'm not sure if I'll do another one, because I know those that wanted them, they already got them. They acted fast, they copped them, and they got them in hand. And I'm just looking forward to seeing them get built. I know there's model shows coming up, for the summer, for the fall. So I hope that by then I start to see those cars being built for then, for those times, because that gives you plenty of time to work on these, to get them ready for these shows. There was different options of liveries. You might want to add carbon fiber. There's just so much stuff that you can do with these cars to play around. And even that, I mean, it's going to just look so dope to see a bunch of Lambos, a bunch of exotic cars all lined up, slammed, cambered wheels, detail parts, all this stuff, man. It's just going to look so dope right there. I look at my Liberty Walk Lambo, the first one, the Huracan, first one I built, and man, I'm just like, every time I see it, I'm always like, man, this car is like so sleek, like, and when you see them in person, you're like, man, I'm like so tall compared to this car is like short or whatever, and they stand out. So it's a very sexy car that you're like, man, I just want to build another one of these. And I know that Aventador is like, I got to do one of these. I want to do this one. Definitely want to do this one. So that's going to be like the next model up right there that I definitely want to build up. But with the PE, man, it's a trip. Back then, I never paid attention to photo etch, It was there. I was just like, yeah, that's cool, like, I'll just build my models here and there, glue it all together, and it's done. I got my model. And then, you start seeing other cars, and you start to see like, oh man, like, where'd you get that, or what is that? You're like, what the heck? And then, oh yeah, PE, photo etch. The heck is that? And then you go, oh, that's the stuff I used to see at the stores. Oh man. And then you start noticing, like, there's only certain ones that are dedicated for certain cars, and then there's some parts that are universal for many cars. And then you got like David from Detail Junkies that starts killing it, busting out with PE sets that were never even made, his own original PE sets for these cars, dedicated cars. And you're like, oh my God, like, there's just so much like out there, you know. Then you got Lowrider Model Car Parts collabing with David, and then they start doing more PE. You're like, oh man. And it just keeps getting crazy, like, from there, you know. And now we're at that point where you got like Mr. Model, you know, these Aoshima PE sets that are out. You know, there's so many dedicated ones that are to models, but then you start getting curious, like, oh man, I could use this for this, you know. Or sometimes you get like some PE parts that are left over, and you're like, I'm gonna save this. And then when you got your little stash of PE parts, you dig around for your next project. You're like, ooh, this is gonna come perfect. And then it ends up working out that way. And you start getting crazy, dude, and creative with your stuff. You start like, oh, I could cut this out. This could be a new little, like, I could use this for a grill. Oh, this could be for a mesh. Oh, this could go in the interior. You know, you start getting addicted to this stuff. And then you start like kind of hoarding it. You start buying a bunch of it. Future build. Especially when you find out, ooh, they don't make this no more. This is done. You don't know when they're gonna come back out with it again. But you're like, oh, this is it. This is it for this one. And you just kind of start going from there. So it's pretty cool. Like all the stuff you start seeing there, you know. But yeah, like, if you guys have any recommendations of like PE, let me know. Like, I know on my site I carry certain products, certain brands and stuff, and you know, I got people telling me, man, you got a lot of stuff. And then I get others that ask me, are you gonna get this? Are you gonna get that? And sometimes it's stuff I don't even have in the site. Leave me a message or just comment, you know, when this goes up, if it's on YouTube or wherever I post it. You know, let me know, like, you know, what do you recommend for my website? That's what I want to know, you know, because I'm always learning. I'm always open to learn, and I'm always learning from you guys. I want to know, like, what is something that I don't have that I should get? What's something that you guys recommend that's like, dude, you need to get this in your store? Like, this definitely, like, this is dope right here. You should definitely get this. You know, these parts are good, or these parts are not so good. You know, stuff like that, especially with the detail stuff, you know, with materials, you know, the kit brands, things like that. It'd be pretty dope to know more of the internal, you know, because I know, you know, from my experience, but then my homies that I have, you know, that I speak with, you know, homies on Instagram, the community, you know, they're always like letting me know as well on stuff. But for you guys that are, you know, listening to this podcast or listening to this on YouTube, model builders, you know, from every levels, just let me know. Let me know, because this will benefit both, right? I'll be able to search for this stuff, see where I can get it, and if I can get it, I can make it available. Because what if it's not even available here? What if it's only available overseas, and I manage a way to get it? You know what I mean? Like, and then it's more accessible. I don't know. Another thing too, I sent out an email blast, and I'm gonna do a post later, just letting everybody know for model kits. I'm running. You know, I know I've been doing the right now, like, limited time offer. If you buy 3 model kits, like 3 or more, it's 10% off. Now I also added, if you want to do like 4 kits or more, then it's 15% off. So those are 2 options right there. So if you either do the first option of buying 3 model kits, you get 10% off all the kits, or if you get 4 model kits, it's 15% off. But you guys will see that post will be up on my Instagram, and other like social media platforms. It's all going to be up there right there. But this I'm doing this sale. I need to move more kits. I need to get rid of more kits. And also, I know a lot of you guys are collectors. A lot of you guys collect these kits to build or even just to have in the stash. And the more, it's like the more kits you get, the more discount benefit you get on there. You could even, and there's no code, just add to cart. So like if you visit the website scaleriders.com, just whatever kits you're interested in, just add them to cart and see the kind of discount savings you get right there. Just add to cart, and it gives you a breakdown when you do the 3. And then if you're curious, just add a 4th and see how much that changes right there. So that's something that's in place right now. No code needed. It's a limited time offer. So later, that offer will end. Not right now. I'm just gonna leave that on. But when I get to a point later to take that off, I will. But yeah, that's the limited time offer right there. Just so you guys know. And man, what else? So I know there's a model show coming up in Ventura. This is by Ventura Hobbies. That's coming up. I'll spread some information on that later. I don't have, I'm driving right now. I don't have the flyer right in front of me. I know it's going to be at the Ventura Fairgrounds towards the end of this month in February. And unfortunately, I won't be there. I won't be there vending or anything like that. I'm going to be busy that day. But please, I'll spread word if you guys, want to come out or anything. Just know that show's coming up. But it's the Ventura Hobby Show. You can even just Google it too, and you'll be able to find some information on that for Ventura Hobbies. It's the Model Fest 2024, February, coming up in the city of Ventura County, Ventura Fairgrounds. Dang, it's coming up. But I'm gonna let you guys go though. I'm already getting ready to pull up right here. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Any questions, all this stuff, just get at me. info@scaleriders.com. That'd be a great place to hit me up. Just email me right there. Also, make sure to subscribe to the email list, because there will be more sales and things coming up for the website. So, all right, guys, peace out. 65 Locs, I'm out.